Kassym-Jomart Tokayev has just been elected as president of Kazakhstan, replacing Nursultan Nazarbayev, who resigned in March after leading the country for almost 3 decades. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev is our guest on the Global Conversation. Thank you for finding the time to speak to Euronews. The report from the OSCE into your election talks about violation of fundamental freedom, about ballot boxes being stuffed, and it says it's impossible to guarantee vote counting was fair. Do you plan any inquiries based on these findings?
All the conditions were created for the holding of open elections. I admit there were violations at some polling stations. Of course, there will be a detailed analysis, and if all this is confirmed, organizational measures will be taken.
The whole world saw the pictures of protests on the day of the vote. There were hundreds of people who believed these elections were undemocratic who were detained. What's your position on the arrest and those who protested?
People did take to the streets to protest. Now work is underway to analyze their demands. My task is to analyze these demands, to listen to the people who have taken to the streets. I think we need to establish a dialogue between the authorities and the people. For this purpose, I've created a public trust committee.
And what about those who aren't satisfied with the power transfer they've seen in recent months? Those people were also on the streets.
Concerning the power transfer, as far as I know, there were no serious complaints against the authorities. But the word transfer is unacceptable. I don't see myself as a passenger making a transfer. I'm not changing plane or train. I'm an elected president and will serve all people without exception.
I know you have a Twitter account. Maybe you know that the hashtags Wake Up Kazakhstan and Kazakh Spring have become very popular lately, and the protests about the elections aren't over. Do you see a risk that the protest movement will grow in Kazakhstan, and what will be the strategy for those who oppose it?
Our strategy is to build dialogue. This movement that you've just mentioned is mainly made up of young, creative people. My policy priority is to attract young people to power, to help solve issues of national importance. Of course, representatives from all these movements will be invited, so we can solve issues around the table, not on the streets in a climate of unrest and chaos.
So street protests will be suppressed?
Naturally, everything that's illegal will be stopped. The Prosecutor's General Office has repeatedly warned about the illegality of such meetings in the streets, unauthorized rallies, riots, because they interfere with people who don't want to participate. Therefore, a law will be established whereby people who want to go to a demonstration to express their views will contact the relevant authorities and will be assigned a special place to gather and express their opinion.
What will happen to those who were detained?
I instructed the Prosecutor General to address this issue in detail. If there are people among the detainees who've committed misdeeds that haven't caused serious damage to public safety, of course they'll be released as soon as possible. I've been told there are people who just happen to be there by chance. Of course, we apologize to them in the sense that they'll be quickly released. This problem will be solved.
And those who said that the elections were unfair, what will happen to them?
Of course they'll be released, because that's their opinion. Whereas I, for example, believe that the elections were generally fair.
On April 4th, 2 weeks after you became acting president, you flew to Russia and met with Vladimir Putin. You also quoted Nursultan Nazarbayev saying relations between Russia and Kazakhstan are fundamental. possible? Did Putin invite you? Why did you go to Russia? And did he ask for guarantees?
The fact that I made my first foreign visit to Russia at the invitation of the Russian president is logical, since we're united, not divided but united, by the longest border in the world. We had very good negotiations in Moscow, meaningful negotiations, and we signed joint statements. As for guarantees, naturally the President of the Russian Federation didn't ask for any, since there's a common understanding of the need to increase cooperation. My principle is that Russia is absolutely necessary for Kazakhstan. As a big state, a state that's next to us, that's a permanent member of the UN Security Council. But without Kazakhstan, Russia would also be somewhat different.
How do you see the future of strategic relations with Europe, and what are the key principles of these relations?
The EU is Kazakhstan's largest trading partner. The volume of trade is more than 33 billion euros. That's more than half of Kazakhstan's trade turnover. So the importance of cooperation with the EU is absolutely obvious. The President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, was here recently. We had quite good negotiations. We clarified principles in the main areas. So I'm very optimistic about cooperation with the EU. First of all, trade and economic cooperation, investment, dialogue on strategic partnership in the international arena, and then drawing on the experience of developed European countries in terms of the political transformation of society.
China and the United States are in a trade war. Kazakhstan occupies a strategic position on the path of Chinese trade routes that are part of the Belt and Road Initiative. Do you see a risk here to the Kazakhstan economy?
There are risks. We're concerned about the trade war between the United States and China because Kazakhstan is a major exporter of a range of natural resources to China. Prices for Kazakh products may fall, that's the main risk. But we believe China and the United States will reach mutual agreements sooner or later. I know the psychology of Chinese leaders and Chinese people, and I think compromise will be achieved.
As a specialist on China who speaks Chinese, what advice can you give Donald Trump?
Don't drive the Chinese into the corner, because for the Chinese, loss of face is of paramount importance.
Your first decision was to rename Astana to Nur Sultan. Nur Sultan Nazarbayev is leader of the ruling party, Nur Otan. Will you meet regularly? Can we foresee a shift towards the Iranian system of governing?
As far as Nursultan Nazarbayev is concerned, he's the founder of our state and remains involved in politics. I consider that consulting him on strategic issues is necessary, and I do so as a matter of principle on a regular basis. Nursultan Nazarbayev himself has said there won't be dual power in Kazakhstan, that he's leaving, but he will be helping the president. How long he'll be helping the president will depend on him.
How long did it take him to choose who he would recommend as a successor? Did you know this was all happening?
3.5 years ago, he told me, "You'll be the next president." It was a matter of time. We were choosing the right moment.
And you had no doubt that you'd be chosen?
Doubts always remain, but I didn't come into politics off the street. I was Prime Minister. I was head of foreign affairs for 10 years, and for about 10 years I was chairman of the Senate. For almost 3 years I headed our UN office in Geneva. Most people know me in Kazakhstan and abroad too.
Thank you for answering my questions.